I know PANDEF has spoken time and again about this current situation. PANDEF describing the president's declaration of state of emergency as, well, equal to the president basically stabbing, the people of the Niger Delta in the back. Some sort of betrayal, saying that, well, the explosion was used as a pretext. That's a pipeline attack was used as a pretext for emergency rule, and that was released in a communique by the Board of Trustees and the Expanded National Executive Committee of PANDEF on Wednesday. So PANDEF's position has been quite clear, but with the recent events, particularly at the National Assembly, it will be very in order to know how PANDEF is responding to this, particularly understanding that there are lawmakers, who are from the Niger Delta, who were there yesterday. But Jeffrey, I think we can get back to him right now and get his thoughts.
All right. Ambassador, if you can hear us now. So we wanted to get your initial thoughts as far as this issue is concerned. So we know that at the time of declaration by the president, PANDEF had reacted. Well, it's given a seal, an approval, some amendments done, but some of the contending issues were still allowed and approved. What's the take of PANDEF, sir?
Yeah, thank you very much, and good morning. First and foremost, I would like to state that PANDEF as a body comprised of very senior citizens of this country and a law-abiding body will follow whatever is legitimate and has been decided by the government and approved by the National Assembly. Our interest on this matter has been the fact that beyond court judgments, beyond legal disputations, there's always an option and a room for peace, dialogue, and amicable resolution. We've been on this since the latter part of last year, from October last year. We've been trying to conciliate, mediate, and make peace between the two sides. And we're making some fair level of progress. I cannot say it was 100%, but there was progress. On each day, there was an improvement. When we met the president on the 11th of March, the president was briefed by a delegation, very top-level delegation of traditional rulers, former governors, former members of presiding officers of the National Assembly, and so on. And the president was briefed on the progress that has been made. And I think where we had a slight surprise was the fact that we had told the president that this is what we are doing. And the president encouraged PANDEF, said, oh, when he saw the caliber of people, I'm happy you are doing this. Tell the governor to go and obey the Supreme Court judgment. And you continue with your peace effort and get back to me on it. So I think that is where the Board of Trustees and the ESCO of PANDEF felt a little bit surprised that this effort was made, and before we could get back to the president, a state of emergency was declared. Well, now that the state of emergency has been declared, and the National Assembly has also confirmed it, for us, it is to call on the people of Rivers State to continue to be law-abiding, to be peaceful. Let us try to see, because the National Assembly has also said that there will be negotiations, there will be discussions, they will set up groups that will try to intermediate and reconciliate. So which means that there is still option for peaceful resolution. And we will encourage that peaceful resolution, because by the end of the day, we want a win-win situation for the people of Rivers State. It should be a win-win. It should not be winner takes it all. It should be the two sides coming to an amicable solution. In this, my preliminary remarks, let me conclude by saying that all conflict situations in the world, as we are seeing, for example, between in the Middle East, those are extreme cases though, and even Ukraine and Russia, negotiations, dialogue, and conference table solves it all. So let us all be open to discussion. And we believe in institutions of this country. It is not our place to start deriding them. Let us move forward and see how we can get an amicable solution to this problem that has lingered.
Well, the tone is quite different, Ambassador, I must admit, from the communique that was issued after that emergency meeting, the Board of Trustees, which I understand was signed not by only you. We had Alfred Diete Spieth, Obon Victor Attar, and others signing that statement. And in that communique, the state of emergency proclamation was vehemently rejected. In fact, it was called a betrayal of the Niger Delta people and an unprecedented assault on democracy. So what has changed now? Do you still hold that position?
No, nothing. See, listen, nothing has changed. What I would like to reiterate that it came as a surprise to us. Because if a president gives you a directive, the office of the president we hold in high esteem, and we're given a directive that you go and try your best and get back to me. So it came as a surprise to us that while that process was on, while the process of trying to get the assembly members for the governor to present his budget was still on, this happened. So, in matters of this nature, you have your initial reaction. When you reevaluate, you take further steps. And if you look at the end of that communique, we said PANDEF will continue to review what is happening and take further decisions. So for now, we will urge peace.
Pardon me, Ambassador. Pardon me, just a moment. So do you still consider it unconstitutional and politically motivated, as was said in that communique?
The lawyers are having a field day debating on the legality and otherwise of some of these steps, and also they are discussing among them. So we are watching. That's why they concluded by saying that PANDEF will continue to watch the situation and will take any further legal steps in this matter. But for now, what is important is that we should all be committed to peace and see how we can move forward.
Speaking of peace, Ambassador, perhaps, one may have to look back before you look forward yet again. And permit me to ask you to take a trip down memory lane to the president's first political intervention, by which an 8-point agreement was brokered. Many, when they look back, blame the governor of Fubara for not objecting to what seemed to be an agreement skewed against him and in favor of the other, feuding party. And some would say that some Niger Delta elders were present at that meeting, and they didn't object at that meeting, but then they went back and started setting Governor Fubara against that political intervention by Mr. President. If that was what transpired at that time, what will be different this time, giving the committee that the National Assembly has approved to provide a political intervention, to the warring parties in this Rivers political crisis? What will be different this time?
Well, I would like to reiterate again the fact that when you have conflicts of this nature, political conflicts and conflicts, similar conflicts, positions keep changing, decisions are taken, and people go back and review their decisions and keep talking. You judge until you're able to arrive at a point where all parties come to full understanding. Yes, Mr. President did very well, tried to give his own fatherly intervention at the beginning, and after they left, all the two parties in various ways tried to comply. It is totally untrue, totally unfair, and would not be correct to say that the governor reneged. No. There was a decision in that meeting that said the governor should go and withdraw the court case. And if you go through the facts, he withdrew the court case, which has now become an albatross because some subsequent judgments were based on the fact that he withdrew the court case, which was the main issue in contention. And the other parties had the case still alive, and judgment was passed against him. And so those mistakes have been made by both sides. But if you keep looking at the rear mirror, you get a crash. The attitude of PANDEF is always forward-looking, and that was why when we saw that progress was snail-paced, in October last year we constituted a committee made up of very senior Nigerians, I must say, the former governor of Akwa Ibom State, 3 former governors and 3 former leaders of the Senate, to broker peace. And we did not have to start going back to say, okay, you made this mistake, you made that mistake. It was a matter of talking towards arriving at a peaceful resolution. And what has changed is the fact that since that time, the state of emergency has been declared. Since that time, Senate of the country, which is the highest lawmaking body, and the House of Reps, making 2 of them the National Assembly, has affirmed what the president has done. And the administrator has been appointed. The governor has been told, along with his deputy and the assembly, to step aside to give a basis for discussion, for more dialogue, to arrive at a give and take option. So I think we should focus more on what has happened now. If the lawyers want to continue to look at the legality, well, it's okay. It's good that the country is established on the basis of rule of law, which the president emphasized. The law must rule at all times. So we leave that to the lawyers. But for us, the initial reaction of PANDEF was the fact that we were surprised that a state of emergency was declared, because we were given a charge. A presidential charge in the temporal setting in any country is the highest charge anybody can give you. When a president tells you, go and do this, you take it almost as a command. And that is what the Peace Committee was still doing when the state of emergency was declared. And that was why we reacted in the manner we reacted. And that is quite appropriate and so legitimate as it is. So going forward, for us, it is for all parties to work with whichever committee that is constituted towards discussions for peace. And we will give them all the support by encouraging the community leaders, encouraging the leaders of River State and other stakeholders to work towards peace, encouraging our young people not to take the law into their hands.
Some would say that godfatherism is at the heart of these political crises. And if you were to convene that committee today and PANDEF was invited to the table, what would PANDEF be recommending as, the way to ensuring lasting peace in the Rivers political crisis, bearing in mind that godfatherism is a key factor that is fueling the feud?
I think that godfatherism is a cancer. Godfatherism is an anathema to proper democratic consolidation and shouldn't be tolerated anywhere in our country in the state building process. Whether it is in Rivers, it is in any other state, we shouldn't encourage godfatherism. But what is important now, what's before us is what they will call a fait accompli. Something has been done by the highest political office holder in the country, the chief executive of the country, the president. The next thing is that the National Assembly has concurred with him. The only option now left for any party if they want is to go to court. But for us as a body, it is we are a body that is formed to promote dialogue, to promote the reign of peace in the region, and also defending, of course, the people. So what a template has been established now. That template is that go and talk on how we can arrive at peaceful resolution of this problem. If that option was not there, PANDEF would have reacted totally differently. Yes, but the option has been created. Is what we were doing already. We were already on the verge of arriving somewhere. Let me say this, and I think Nigerians need to know. At the beginning, when PANDEF got involved, the two sides did not want to talk to each other. And finally, the committee of elders succeeded in talking to the two sides. They met people who were very close to the governor. They met with the governor himself twice. Then they also met with the very close people to the minister of the Federal Capital Territory. And the two sides agreed that, okay, let us arrange for the two principals to meet at a neutral ground. And we had already started working on that, on a place where both of them can meet face to face. I can put it out that we had approached one of the governors in the South, who is very starched from this matter, to host, and he had accepted to host. So we're looking forward to that process. When we went to the president and reported this process to him, and he said, okay, let the governor obey the court judgment. you go and continue your good work. He thanked the elders. I must say also, the president was very civil, very receptive to the people that went. I don't know why the report that came out from the State House showed as if people were not properly received. Not at all. President showed a lot of difference. In fact, the president said something. I will breach protocol to come down to greet some of them when he saw the caliber of people. So it was not that bad. He said, go and continue with your peace work. I thank all of you. These elders, he called some of them by name, always been there. And so we were jolted, we were surprised. First, it was the attack on PANDEF by one of the parties, very violently. Less than 24 hours, even before people could check out from the hotels the next morning. And then the next was the declaration of state of emergency, which they were still working. But I will repeat for the umpteenth time, for us, we must go forward. Right. We must go forward at this stage.
Ambassador,
and that going forward is for all parties to work towards peace.
Ambassador,
yes,
just a moment. As we begin to wind down, it's important that in finding a path to this and resolution, what we can do is to hazard a guess as to what the issues are. You've been able to speak either directly, PANDEF now, either directly or by proxy to the warring party, if you allow me to use that word. What exactly does each party want? Because all we do is to hazard a guess, and, the parties, the principal parties in this case, they say this today, they say that tomorrow, but we can draw a line to what they are saying. Political structure, this, that, and the other. We can't hold on to anything as strongly as we should. But what have you been told by a party saying, yes, on Wiki says this is what he wants, or the governor saying this is what we want? Because it's what they want that is causing this problem.
For me, and the little that the committee had reported back to me, since I constituted the committee, the board of trustees, and I being the chairman, they report back to me, is the fact that, of course, I also interact with some of the people, is the fact that there was a close relationship between the governor and the minister of the Federal Capital Territory, who, by the way, and I must emphasize this, is the son of the Niger, bona fide son of Niger Delta, our son. And we are pleased with him, although there are disagreements on some of the aspects of he cooperating with the committee. But from what we've been told is the fact that it's just frayed the relationship. Relationship has gone par. And, it's a human thing. A matter of ego, a matter of misunderstanding, wrong communication, and wrong value judgment by supporters. Supporters say, don't agree this way, don't agree that way. So the details are what we've been working on. And if this new work of the National Assembly, they so desire, the people from PANDEF, we deliberately made sure that there was no person from River State in that committee. Committee headed by the former governor of Akwa Ibom State, and which everybody knows is the father of modern Akwa Ibom State, the former governor of Kwara State, Colonel Pamoga, military governor, the former deputy governor of Bayelsa State, 3 former chief whips of the Senate, and 1 former leader of the House of Reps. These are people in their 70s and 80s, very senior Nigerians that have served in different capacities. So if they want them to come and brief them, they will go and brief them and tell them where they've reached and tell them the naughty areas. Yet there are some naughty areas which we may not be able to discuss in this short period of this interview. But please, we want to enjoin all people. Let us pray for River State and let us support any peaceful initiative. Lawyers are free to do what they want to do, but at the political level, we'll continue to work towards peace. We need peace in River State. It's important to the country. We need peace in River State. It's important, particularly to the Niger Delta. Port Harcourt is the capital city of the South-South, and many of our people live there. Many of us still have our homes. From Bayelsa, our houses are still in Port Harcourt. Many of us have a Port Harcourt address. And we grew up in Port Harcourt. So we need peace in Port Harcourt. And we will get there. By the grace of God, we'll get there now that it has escalated to this level.
All right, Ambassador, that's the dream and the prayers as far as this issue is concerned, because it's exhausting. Everybody just wants closure as soon as possible. Ambassador Godknows is the national chairman of PANDEF, who joined us via Zoom. Thank you so much, sir, for coming on the program.
Thank you very much.